around, friends, new and old, and welcome to the POWWOW podcast. I'm your host, Philip.
And I'm David.
Ooh, you came off the pan like a thing of sizzling bacon, my friend. Way to go. How's your week
Perfect
been?
way to start the day. It's the end of the day here. My week has been good. You know what I figured out about my job, which is not particularly exciting. I'm working as a sub teacher at a high school, and all I do is supervise teenagers who most of the time don't need supervision, but it's just that 10% of the time that they do. That's why I have to be there. But I figured out that they're basically, because I have all that free time sitting at that desk, they're basically paying me to do all the things that I've been procrastinating doing at home for months. So it's actually a pretty good deal.
Yes.
Pretty good deal.
You know what? Those are the best. Well, they're the secondary best jobs, because at the end of the day, if you don't have something to do during them, it's absolutely the worst. You're just wasting time. But, and I had this during my stint in college, is the best jobs are the jobs that pay you to do other work, because you're already at work, and so therefore you have that free time to actually get other work done. I in college I worked in our counselor, our advisor office, so a lot of people would come in for appointments, but when they didn't, you're just sitting there twiddling your thumbs looking for things to do. I got so much homework done. I got so much. I was essentially I was being paid to catch up on sports, get my homework done, watch movies. It was the absolute best time, and I gathered a lot of time and got paid doing so. Mwah,
In the
beautiful.
past several weeks, I used quite probably an inappropriate amount of time to watch a lot of the Oscar nominated movies, because I think I've said it before on the podcast. I set out to watch every single Oscar nomination, and yesterday I did it. I watched the very last movie, and I'm talking every single category: the shorts, the documentaries, the documentary shorts, the international, everything. Every single category. I've watched every single movie that is nominated, and I'm looking forward to next week when we're going to be discussing that.
Yes, our first preview, but also just really quick, because I don't think that this will give it away. What was the last film that you saw that was in the Oscar category? Because I don't think I could do the reverse.
The last film was Promising Young Woman, which is actually nominated in 5 different categories.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's hilarious that was your last one. I would have thought it would have been like an animated short or something.
No, I did all the shorts except for the documentaries. I did those a while ago, but all the animated and live action shorts I did in like one day, because I rented them. I had to rent them from like a movie theater in Seattle. Right. But I seriously, I went to lengths to achieve this goal of mine. But no, Promising Young Woman, I started it weeks ago, and then I decided, you know what, I'm going to save this for later. All right, this week we're talking about hobbies, things we like to do with our free time. You know, I once upon a time, I would have considered theater a hobby, but that's kind of what I do for a living. So, and talking on a microphone. But these are the things that we're
a very
not
colorful
that
microphone.
We're definitely not paid to do. Phil, this was kind of your baby.
Yes, it was. I just thought that, again, in the interest of, I'd say exposing ourselves, but it's not exactly like we're just, sitting here naked across from one another, although that would be a very fun podcast. That would be, strip podcast. Has anyone done that? I don't even think it would get ratings. Anyways, it would for us.
I just did I think we both did a very office look to camera there, because we are taping this.
Yeah, we should rename the podcast Hair Down There Podcast if we ever strip down to our willy-nillies.
Yeah.
Yes. And it could be a discussion about what to do in the hedge area. I'm sorry. That was a tunnel. That was a tunnel that I could not get away from. I'm so sorry. Talking about hobbies, which has absolutely nothing to do with pubescent hair. We are talking about what our favorite things to do that we aren't being paid for. Absolutely. That we find interest and fun and invest time into, because there are things that hobbies that I'm sure that you have that I find completely stupid and would never do myself. And I am fully confident that there it is likewise, especially for a man who likes Kanye and a man who disdains him.
Yikes! Yeah,
what? You did. Yeah.
Just the name. It's like
the name evokes
Kanye
such
and
raw
Jared
emotion.
Leto just rub me the wrong way.
Jared Leto. We got it. That's, you know what? Not next week. Some week in the future. We got to talk about celebrities we have absolutely no reason to truly disdain.
Right. Yeah, and I should
and
clarify.
love.
Like, I don't have any. Like, there's no personal nothing. It's completely irrational, just based on nothing.
Yeah, we'll get that
Yes.
in a later podcast. All right, so I'll start us out.
Okay.
I'll start us out. One of my probably the first one. If you know me, I'm a very competitive person. In case you haven't figured that out by the fact that we have a game each and every week in this podcast. I love games. I love to win. Hate to lose, but I'm a very competitive person. I love sports and all this. So in the interest of that, I have a fair amount of game-like things that are in my hobbies. I realize that they might be similar, but I think that they're different enough that they justify their place in this list. So my first one is video games. Video games for me is a tremendous hobby. I'm very cognizant of the fact and how easy it is to lose one's self in this category and just how far down the rabbit hole you can go. So it's always a challenge for me, for somebody who loves games and loves to constantly challenge myself to get better, to not just every single day go to the wit and the full measure out of just training and do better in gaming each and every single day, day after day. Because if I could, and I could just wake up, play games from dawn to dusk, maybe stop for snacks, stop for a poop and a sausage, and then come back and just play the rest of the day. But I love video games. Some of my favorite games are, let me think, Halo. I love football, not international version, just American football. And then recently, me and a group of friends have been playing this game called Dead by Daylight. So nothing like Rocket League, nothing too on the mainstream. I'm not even into Fortnite. I'm not into first-person shooter games. But my personal conduit into gaming is stuff that I can really play with a small group of friends that I know. And if not that, of course, sports.
Yeah.
Would I have suggested this to somebody younger, a young Philip? Would I have said steer away from gaming and go into a different venue of life? No, I think it's actually quite conducive. I think it improves a lot of essential skills down beneath, and as long as it's healthy, anything that's healthy, I think is just that. It can be
anything in moderation.
Good to invest. Yes, of course.
Within reason.
Of course. So I'm very aware of my time spent in gaming and just how far down the rabbit hole I would go as far as finances in case I wanted to go and purchase every single game in the world or something. So, Hoffman, what's the first off of your list?
First thing on my list, something I haven't actually done much in years, is drumming. I was a drummer all through middle and high school. I started out in 6th grade band. We had to choose an instrument, and I was like, I ain't playing the flute or the clarinet. It is going to be saxophone because it's seductive, or drumming because it's seductive in another way, because it's kind of badass, you know?
The drummer is the second one who pulls.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think so.
Yeah, because the singer's the number one pull, and then drummer's second.
Yeah, but then, bass players and guitarists would have something to say about that as well. So
Sure.
I think being in a band in general just generally works. Not that it really worked for me in middle and high school.
Right.
I was so I was a drummer. And it's good that I didn't choose another instrument, because I think I would have been crap at anything else. And that's not to say that I was an amazing drummer, but I always loved it. Jake Corlang, who's our That Slaps bass player.
Yes.
He and I were in a band together when we were 12.
No, really?
From age 12 to, until we graduated high school, we jammed together. We played together a lot.
Way to go, Jake.
Yeah, all
Way
6
to go.
years. Yeah, I know. It's his claim to fame, really, is being my bass player.
That's what's really going to promote his career going forward.
Yeah, you just have a look at his Instagram following compared to mine, and you'll know that I'm completely full of shit.
Way to pull out your sax. Jeez Louise.
Anyway, yeah, drumming was something that I've always loved. I was never amazing at it, but I was pretty good, especially rock and stuff like that. Jazz was always a lot more challenging. I'm
curious. In another life, would that have been a career? Would that have been? Would you have
when
tried to go and be?
When I was like 13, 14, I did dream a little bit about actually making it as a band. Like us guys, you know, Jake included.
Yeah.
And he's a professional musician now, so he's really living that lifestyle.
So he had the talent.
Yes,
It was you bringing the band down a little bit.
I will say this: like, talent is one thing. Jake had commitment. He always worked and still works so hard at it, like every day. It's insane. And yeah, he's amazing. But I did at one point want to do it as a career. I would recommend, like, if we're looking at young people, I recommend any young person to try out any instrument. Really, drumming is amazing. It's a great way to vent frustrations, and I don't know what else I can say about it, but definitely something that was a big part of my adolescence.
Yeah, for my next hobby.
I want to say one more thing. The only reason I stopped doing it is because I stopped having access to a drum kit. And one day that is a dream of mine, is to get my own drum kit in a place where I can play without having neighbors be a bother and whatnot. But
that's true. Coming from California, you only get one room.
Yeah. And
then of course, if you were to sanction off a portion of the living room, of the shared common areas, for a drum kit, nonetheless, it's really selfish. Unless of course you were to get like those what are those? Like,
I had an electric kit. It is not the same. It's just not. It was heartbreaking. And I sold it because it wasn't fulfilling to play. Unfortunately,
that sucks. I will go to my next one that you're familiar with, but also down a different stream, if you will. Poker. Now,
yes.
Poker has been a hobby of mine. I think I've even mentioned it on previous podcast episodes where, yes, I thought of it as a possible career at some way, shape, or form. I've thought of whenever I was thinking about becoming an actor, I thought maybe I can be a dealer during the day, if nothing else. And then there was even times where I thought I could be a professional poker player. And I admittedly went to the casino every day for about like 4 months, and I did fairly well. Yeah, and I made a pretty fair and nice living, if I may say so myself. Netted a profit. It was fine. My only problem was I I didn't feel as fulfilled because if I think it feels like if you're just not drawn to stocks or maybe even like accountancy, where it's just once you kind of at least know what you're doing, I'd imagine there's really no conduit of creativity.
It's all about the numbers at that point.
At that point, it's all about the numbers. There's no real finesse. Now, granted, I find that the best aspect about poker for me, I have a personal, I wonder if I have to be, it's a podcast and whatever, come what may. I have a personal poker game that I put on with a group of my friends, and honestly, just the camaraderie and the group element of poker far outweighs any amount of money. We don't even actually play for them, a vast majority amount of money. And if anybody of legal standing is listening, it's actually really no money. It's just hugs and kisses all around. We all just, I owe you 3 hugs and 4 kisses later on.
Yeah, you're really leading. Yeah, that's like verging on prostitution, Phil.
Yes, absolutely. But it's not. It's all above the waist. No heads down below kisses. It's all appropriate kisses. Nothing unconsensual or nothing. Anyways, but it's a close group. And the reason why I love it so much is that as guys, and maybe you'd understand, maybe you feel the similar way. I feel like there's not as many ways for like men groups of friends to really hang out outside of just a generic hangout. So, and that's to say, like, women, I think it's more common to just kind of hang out. Maybe, I hate to be stereotypical, but like go to the mall, grab lunch, just have parties, just really have fun. Like, women know how to have fun. Guys, like, it's you maybe 1 or 2 guys, and then I don't know, maybe go see a game, maybe a pub thing. I don't know. There's not a lot I found within what I do in my life. And poker is one of those things where we have a bi-weekly get together, and it's a lot of fun. It offers a lot of camaraderie, and I have a lot of friendships and relationships that I have fostered throughout the years that I truly and honestly don't think I would have had and maintained to certainly the level that I have if not for that game, that bi-weekly game that has been something of a specialty in my life and for that group of friends. I love everything about it. Would I recommend it to somebody younger? Again, if you know that you don't have like a gambling problem or something and you can just keep it fun, and maybe you're somebody like me who looks for that social interaction that I can have with a big group of friends and just kind of sit around and also play a game, I think that would certainly appeal to you and allow you to have that conduit again, outside of gambling.
So whenever I try to show poker to people, it's kind of daunting. People think it's complicated. Just give it a chance. It's actually not that complicated to learn how to play.
Yeah, it's a hard entry point.
Yeah,
but the part of the fun of poker is that over the years you will gain a style and you'll gain your own way of just really playing. The fun is, I'd say, more so in the banter at the poker table than it is really anything that's going on in the game. So that's all that I have to say about that. Go ahead, David.
I think it leads me nicely into I want to kind of disagree. I think that guys can hang out and without a mode of entertaining themselves, like a game. But that being said, I am a big lover of going to bars. I love being out. I'm a very extroverted, sociable person. I love being out at bars and stuff, and I love pool. I love to play pool, darts too, but really, I'm a big fan of like going to bar and playing pool, especially if you're playing like doubles, you know. And I like the banter. I like the competitiveness. I think it's a lot of fun, and it doesn't matter if you find a group of 4 people to play doubles and you can balance the skill level on either team, then it's usually pretty competitive. There's potential for upsets. I think it's a great way to spend an evening with some beers or whatever you want to drink. And there's not a lot that I actually want to say about it, but pool is one of my favorite ways to spend an evening.
You know, I don't, being a person who doesn't drink a lot, I think I've admitted that on this podcast. I mean, it's not like it's something, quote unquote, that I do need to admit. But as somebody who doesn't drink a lot, that the bar option really is not really there for me, because I feel like one of the appeals of a bar is that you have the possibility, if you want to socialize and interact beyond just whatever group you come with. And it's possibly you can meet a friend or a significant other or a business contact just because you're at a bar that night and you're sharing in an experience of watching or playing pool together, yada, yada, yada. And so since I don't drink, it kind of limits my ability to go to a bar and have fun. But underrated on there, bar food is tremendous. I get the bar food. Bar food is
look. I mean, I would love. I want to prove you wrong. I think that bars, like I really think there's something there. I don't like that anyone should feel pressure that they need to drink, or that they shouldn't be there because they're not drinking. They're not partaking in that part of the culture. I don't know. I think that there's something there for people who prefer not to drink alcohol or whatever.
Yeah. For me, the only times I feel really confident in doing that is if it's a assured gathering for a specific sports event, for me at least, and that's how I kind of feel comfortable. Whether it's not a Super Bowl, I would never go to a bar.
I mean,
for
I'm not
Super
really
Bowl
talking about like Buffalo Wild Wings. I'm talking about like or Dave and Buster's. I'm talking about like a nice local pub.
Yeah, your local bar
with a pool table, you know, or a dartboard.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Anyways, so my last one, I would say podcasting, as we've kind of gone up in order. It's kind of, they're superfluous. But I would say podcasting, but here we are. That would seem like cheating, right? So I'm going to go.
I mean, we also hope to one day maybe make some money off of this.
That would be tremendous. But you know, that we're putting into the future. But I'm going to go on something that I think you'll disagree with by me just saying it, but let me explain. Okay. I'm going to go with fantasy football. I don't think you've
No,
done.
I don't disagree with that.
Okay, because here's my thing: is that yes, it's only a season, right? It's only a short set amount of time that I actually have dedicated to this. But for one, I'm a league commissioner. I have a certain group social circle as well for that. It's funny, but I have a small social group and circle for that specific aspect of my life, and I'm a commissioner. So that means that on top of trying to be a good commissioner and create rules and create fun elements to incorporate it, and then create a way of making everybody happy at any given point in time within the league. I also have to deal with the day in and day outs of being a very dedicated sports fan who also very much is dedicated into competitiveness. And so I'm consistently going and checking my lineup. I'm consistently checking the waiver wire. I'm consistently researching into these players. It's how do I put this? It's as close to a job as I can possibly make it without it actually being a job or anything that I'm required to do. I absolutely love it. And each and every year it's so much fun. It's one small element of it is me and my best friend, again, David S., as we established in the last one. We have a yearly bet since he's one of the people in this league. And each and every year we have a yearly bet. We come up with a new form of whatever the bet will take, but we face it off against each other yearly. We have one guaranteed matchup, and the loser of that matchup has to do something embarrassing. This past year, he has yet to pay it off, but this past year, the loser has to give a free car wash to anybody who might want it for an hour while wearing a seductive and suggestive bikini. So it's just each and every year it goes up, baby. It goes up, and I love that there's so much that you can incorporate it, and it meshes with my love of sports. So that's why I'm going to say fantasy football, personally.
God. Yeah. Okay. My last one is touch rugby.
Oh,
Yeah. Look, I would recommend rugby to anyone, but to me, like an actual team sport that you would join a club for or whatever, it's sort of veers away from being a hobby. Touch rugby, I think if there is a group in your city or something, or a rugby club, an official rugby club or whatever that hosts touch rugby on Thursday nights or something, it is one of the most fun things that you can do. That is insanely good fitness as well. Everyone whom I've ever showed touch rugby to has loved it. It's such a fun game.
I don't know much, if anything, at all about rugby, but is rugby the one where you all get in that huddle and you kind of do whatever that is, the whole shimmy as a collective group? Is that what that is?
Well, I mean, yes.
No, which one is that
Yes,
one?
but no.
So they do. So
What I'm saying
is
there's no shimmy. It's not a huddle. It's 8 guys on each team, pushing against each other to try to win.
You're not making this any better.
Okay,
You're
whatever.
not making this any better. But what
we're
saying,
talking about touch rugby.
I'm not even.
We're talking about.
I'm not trying to make this funny. I'm not trying to shame you. What I'm more so saying, what I'm getting to the point is I cannot imagine being that close, like ear to ear, moist sweat, just your sweat dripping into my earlobe because we're huddled up in this cuddle puddle of sweat and emotion,
like
and
bouncing
grip
from side to side.
Yeah, no, it just this I can kind of now that I'm doing it more and more as this podcast is going on, I can feel why you'd like this. This is an attractive. This feels good. This feels right. But being sweaty with somebody else doing this, I mean, this has got to be somebody close. Like just you and me doing this, but not like 7 other guys doing it. Ugh.
You're making me uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm making myself uncomfortable.
It's like, trust me, I've played in many different positions, and it's really not a big deal. But I'm talking about touch rugby. So there's no scrum, there's no tackling. There's literally just a hand to the arm or the chest or whatever you happen to reach out and make contact with, and that sort of stops that play. It's incredibly fast paced. It's amazing fitness. There's a lot of running backwards, which is very tiresome. I think the culture around rugby, why I got into rugby, obviously because I'm from South Africa, and that's the main sport, amongst my family and people in South Africa. So, that's how I got into it. But the culture around rugby is better, I think, than any other sport in terms of sportsmanship and respect and courteousness, and like if you watch soccer, it's just it always takes me a minute to get used to it, with all the players like screaming at the referee and swearing, and in rugby you can't do that because the ref is wearing a mic, which is not unlike American football. It's the mic is always on, and you can always hear it, and you'll hear these guys that it's like, yes sir, sorry sir, all right sir, and it's like that even in the lower levels. When I played at university, there was no TV, there was no microphone on the ref, but it's still yes sir, sorry sir. It's very respectful. Like the culture around rugby is one of true sportsmanship, and I don't see that in a lot of others, in any other sports really, not to that level. And you chuckled there. I'm not sure why. Because
no, I imagine you watching and just enjoying, like some guys like, hey, what are you watching? And you're just like, the respect this guy has for the ref is just, God, he's just like, he's leading the league in respect.
Look, I think this is a sport that you might actually really enjoy.
I agree, but I imagined a scene. Okay. It's not me setting out to make fun or make light of you. You set the scene so beautifully that it created an image for me.
It's a tremendous sport. It has a World Cup. If there's any way to get into it, that's the way to get into it. There's a different version of the sport, which is kind of like it's a shorter game, fewer people in the team in the Olympics this summer. So check that out maybe. But none of those are all contact rugby. I'm talking the one that I chose for my hobby is touch rugby, which is easy for anybody to get into. It's genderless. I've played I've gone to touch rugby sessions with men, women, whatever. It doesn't matter. There's no actual hard tackling. There's no need for that, right? So it's a lot of fun, and I would recommend it to anybody, young or old or whatever. This is a brand new mini segment. You can't handle the truth. The idea is we're each going to ask the other a question, and the answer just can be anything except the correct answer. Anything but the truth.
All right, sounds good. Do you wish to start, David, or shall I? Shall I ask my first question?
I'll go for. I'll ask first. Phil, my question for you is: cow tipping is very popular in the U.S., right? So, how should one tip a cow?
Well, first of all, you got to find your most obese cousin, and you.
Has to be a cousin. Right? Like, it's very important. It's a detail that's very important. Yeah, it cannot be an uncle or a sister or it has to be a cousin.
It has to be a cousin, or else, I mean, and if God forbid that you have no aunts or uncles to have given birth to any kids, you are plumb out of luck, my friend. So luckily though, that's why it originated in the South, is because everybody there has a lot of kids, it's in the culture.
Yeah,
it has a lot of cousins. They marry some of them. That's all it. And so anyways, so what you want to do is you want to make sure that you find your biggest cousin, who has a lot of eating issues, and then you make sure that they're dead asleep. Like, you have to, I would even suggest post Thanksgiving dinner, because that's usually a pretty heavy nap, a pretty heavy slumber. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to shimmy their mattress out from underneath them. And what you're going to want to do is kind of like a taco, just sort of like vibrate it, just rub it around, just make sure that until they finally are horizontal, no longer vertical on the mattress, their head may actually be tipping, if you will, over the side of the mattress, and that's considered cow tipping.
Wow.
David, my question for you: how can one avoid dehydration when crossing a desert?
To avoid dehydration crossing a desert, you'd be tempted to find a well. Don't. It's a trap. People fall down wells People fall down wells all the time. No one has ever successfully actually pulled water out from a well.
I pulled water out of some interesting places in my life. Yeah.
What you want to do is bring is bring Fergie with you. Because as you know, camels store moisture in their humps.
Oh my God.
And Fergie is the leading expert in the world on humps. All right, this is Once More, and kind of in line with our main topic where we talked about hobbies, activities, if you like. I thought maybe we could talk about what you might, what activities you might bring to a first date.
Yeah.
Some guidelines here. We want to talk about our go-tos and our avoid at all costs, and then and then I got a little surprise at the end that we might want to talk about.
Fantastic. Do you mind if I start?
Yeah, go ahead.
By all means, a huge, humongous, that cannot state it enough, disclaimer. Each and every person you date is different. So this is just something of a soft guideline that I would provide for me, from my point of view, that I'm giving. Not every person's the same, so I'm not. Make sure that it's always special and curated to the person that you are seeing or intend to see or asking to see or going on with, whatever it is. This is just a soft guideline, and even then, when I'm just fitting it within this range. So this is me. This is my, like, what I first think of, and then from there, things blossom. Here we go. My go-to interactive places. So in my younger days, I would have gone to Dave & Buster's. That's local here in the States. It's a place where you go and play games. It's like an adult Peter Piper pizza. I know what you're thinking right here. I know what you're thinking, David, and I can see your
I actually wanted to bring
little
this
smirk.
up.
Yeah, your fucking little smirk over there. I came up with this idea. We have a mutual friend, and I'm not going to say who. We have a mutual friend who claims to own this and still claims to own this, but I would say we've outgrown that. But
I hope so.
yes, but I came up with this. I'm the founder of this nugget of knowledge that at a certain...
I believe you, but I don't know why you're so proud of that fact.
No. I'm saying in a certain age group, that's what it is.
Okay.
Like that's, I mean, shoot, if you take a date to Peter Piper Pizza and you're like, I don't know, pre-high school, that's pretty cool. That's pretty, like, that's, hey, yeah, mom, bring over some high C orange, please. Here we go, baby. Like, what else can I get you? But if you're a Dave & Buster's, it's like the grown-up version of that. And so now, as you grow up, the idea's there where you need to have something interactive together. You can, whether or not it's like at the mall, you play huge figurine life pieces of chess where they're like as tall as you, and then you're doing that like Harry Potter wannabes, or you're making up your own sack potato race, something interactive, something that you both can be a part of and talk about. That's my go-to. Go ahead.
Okay, my go-to, I agree with you. Interactive, I'll take it one further. I think that it's nice to have a healthy level of competition involved. You can go to the movies and that gives you something to talk about. That's great. You can go to dinner. Best way to get to know one another is just through conversation. So dinner's great, but if you can add an element of competition, of like something that you can be doing even if the conversation falls flat, and sometimes it does, even if the date's going great, sometimes there's a lull, So I love mini golf. I think it's a cliche from the movies, but I think it actually is a lot of fun. And I'll bring it back again, pool or darts or anything that where you guys can play a game and be competitive in a friendly way, and maybe share drinks and conversation while you're doing that. I think that's the ideal, because obviously you do get that competitive thing at Dave & Buster's, but I think there's something fundamentally unromantic about being surrounded by screaming 8-year-olds. And that's all I have to say about that.
Where would you avoid at all costs, David? Is it Dave & Buster's?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
Well, okay, no,
wow.
I mean, avoid at all costs. I think that the movies is not a first date thing. I think that
I thought
you're
you
not
might
actually
go this
getting
way.
to know one another. The only way it works, I think, is if you do dinner or something else afterwards. But if it's just a movie and then like a walk home, I think that you're missing out on the opportunity to actually get to know one another.
Yeah, I thought you might go this way. So that's my number one. But 2, a hangout that includes any amount of friends or really anybody you know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Never bring somebody else you know. Like I don't care what it is. Just bringing somebody. Hey, I'm going to a family reunion. Would you like to? No. Whatever it is, it needs to be just you two. So don't bring any friends or be like, my best friend.
That kills
My
the
best
romance.
friend's going to just join us. Yes,
kills the
absolutely.
romance.
And even if your intentions are pure, if it at least you have to work against that for the rest of the date. So
Also,
whatever.
Lunch. Lunch is always go for dinner.
Really?
Lunch is at
for
a
dinner.
push fine.
Or for a date.
Yeah, at a push fine, but dinner is always better than lunch. Lunch is just less romantic.
A third date. Are we going to third date?
So
Is that
no. So this is the surprise that I had for you. So when is it appropriate to do the deed? Is it first date, third date, fifth date, 1 month, 6 months?
For me, since right now I'm well, I guess not right now, but I identify as a heterosexual man. I'm for my rules. I know that it changes in the gay community. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. So I'm just speaking from a heterosexual man's point of view. It's whenever she wants. For me, from how I feel about it.
Fair enough. I have a story of a friend of mine. I'm not going to mention his name. If he's listening, he'll probably know this. Know this is him. He said to his now fiance when they first started dating.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so he said to her, "We're not gonna have sex for 6 months." I think it was 6 months, and she was like,
"Wow,
what?" And he was like, "That's how we're gonna get to know each other." And I'm sure it was difficult, and I'm sure it when it finally happened, made it incredible. But I mean, what a commitment to make to actually getting. I'm not saying that this is for everybody. I might say that 1 month or 2 months might be more reasonable time frame.
Sure.
But I think I'm with you. I think a few dates whenever both people feel comfortable with it. Yeah. But I think it's an interesting idea to really push it and make it.
The only problem I actually have with it is not the idea itself, really. It's more so that it feels like a compromise between waiting for marriage and not. And so therefore that's kind of where.
Okay, I mean, I can see that. I don't think I don't think it necessarily has to be like that, though.
I suppose either way, I think if it feels like an unreasonable compromise, whereas I think that if you're looking for that, like it just seems like why arbitrarily 6 months? I guess I don't know. That's my personal opinion. Whatever. Not that anybody asked. So thank you. Hello and welcome back to the POWWOW podcast. I am here with Hoffman, and the reason why I have to make a special announcement about that, as you're listening on, is that we are joined by a guest, not for the entirety of the podcast today, but just for the game. I think that's a format that we both agree, Hoffman, that we want to include. We want to bring somebody in here to help mellow out the competitive levels, help make sure that it's all on the up and up, and gives us a barometer, if you will, of where we are competitively. Somebody who will validate either of our opinions that somebody is not making horrible games and just making them completely hard and unnecessarily complex.
I'd like everyone to note the complaining going on that end.
I swear to God.
Literally like 2 hard games and he's like done.
I swear to God.
He's like, I need a friend on the podcast with me.
I swear to God, I have this like thing in the back of my throat. It's cheating. Anyways, so with that being said, we are bringing onto the podcast today my near and dear friend, Jenny Reiner. Welcome, Jenny.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming apart and being a part of the podcast. We'll get into...
Thanks for coming apart.
Yeah, no, thanks for coming apart emotionally. This is all just a big ploy to get you to talk and mentally break down on the podcast, for the ratings. That's all we care about here.
I hope I've made my quiz was as easy as I wanted to make it this week, and I hope you destroy Philip today.
Okay, I'll try my best, I guess.
Yes. All right, David, go ahead and explain the rundown, since this week is your game, your game format.
All right. I like to keep it. I wanted to come back to something simple, something that we did more at the beginning of the podcast when we first started, and this is a multiple choice, 5 questions, 4 multiple choice options per question. And because this week we were talking about hobbies and activities, I thought maybe I would do mine kind of sports based, which would maybe hopefully make Phil as less likely to complain as I could possibly make him.
Yeah, let's see how racing cheetahs does me. Let's go. I see what you're gonna do. We're gonna be racing bullfrogs here, and they'll be like, "All right, give me your best bullfrog knowledge," and I'll just have an intimate advantage over Jenny in that category. I cannot wait.
Okay, here we go. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Let's do it.
First question: how many dimples do golf balls have on average? Is it 5, 24, 336, or 1,600?
Jenny, since you're our guest, why don't you go first?
Interesting. A nice wide variety of numbers.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to go with. My gut says B, 24.
And my gut says a lot of things whenever I'm waking up in the morning, which is right around this time. But I will go with 300, whatever option C was, 277.
Yeah, 336, and that's correct.
Precisely what I
Phil.
said.
336.
I'd say suck
go.
that, Jenny, but really, it's David who I have a vitriol for, not you, Jenny, whatsoever. So I apologize.
Okay. Question 2. Olympic gold medals are predominantly made of what metal? Solid gold, sterling silver, copper, or uranium?
I'll go first this time, Jenny, so that way the advantage isn't held to one person here. I'm going to go with, it was gold, sterling silver, copper was C.
Yes.
I'm going to go with
And
C.
D was uranium.
I bet it was in myanium. All right, go ahead, Jenny, your turn. I'm going to go with C.
I will, let's see here. I will have to also pick C, copper.
Wow, both wrong, actually. It's B, sterling silver.
I knew.
sterling silver.
I knew it definitely wasn't gold. That's the one thing I did know. I thought it was either lead or obviously copper. So, onward
Well, they
we go.
definitely played it in gold.
Right.
All right, the 1920 Summer Olympics were co-hosted by 2 countries. The first Olympics to be co-hosted by 2 countries. One of them was the Netherlands, which is the country I'm in now. Yay. What was the other? Was it A, Australia, B, Brazil, C, the UK, or D, Belgium?
Jenny, you go first on this one.
Would you mind saying the answers one more time?
Yeah. So the first country was the Netherlands. What was the other? Australia, Brazil, the UK, or Belgium?
My gut feeling says Belgium, D.
This is not to gain a competitive advantage. That was my answer as well. I'm going to go with D, Belgium, right behind Jenny.
Both correct, both redeemed.
Yes.
Yep. So you both, Philip, you're on 2. Well, sorry, no.
Yep. Yeah.
Yes, you are on 2. There you go. All right. Now, question 4. Other than golf, what Olympic sport has been quote unquote played on the moon?
Oh.
Is it javelin, high jump, hurdles, or 10,000 meter?
Wow. Okay, I'll go first here, Jenny. I mean, I feel like by definition, it has to be. Well, I guess if you get too far in a high jump, those jetpacks won't get you back down. You know what? I'm gonna go. What was C again?
The options were javelin, high jump, hurdles, or 10,000 meter. Hurdles being,
you know what?
where
I'm gonna
sprint, but with the hurdles.
You know, as a dear friend of mine has once said, and haven't we all? I'm gonna stick with D. Go ahead, Jenny. You follow that.
My gut feeling says, I don't think it was A. No, it wouldn't have been A. I'm going to say, so there's high jump, there's hurdle, and there's 10,000 meter. I'm going to go with B, high jump.
That would have been my second guess as well, but the correct answer is javelin. Actually, they used a pole from one of their science experiments, and they threw javelin. Yeah,
that's incredibly dangerous.
Holy crap!
You said 10,000 meter, Phil?
Yeah.
You realize that's 6 miles.
Hey, I mean, if you can jump forward and land on the moon and just do wheelies with your jetpack, I would do that.
So you think that they wasted oxygen running 6 miles on the moon?
Yes, David. Of course. Because wouldn't we all? I know if your little pasty white ass was up there, you'd be like, "Oh, I gotta do my morning run," and you would just enjoy it. So that's why. And I thought that you would sympathize with running.
I'm only pasty white in the winter. Okay.
That's true. That's true.
Okay.
Jenny thinks I'm so
what is
abusive.
The score now? What is the score? It is 2-1, I believe.
Yeah, it's still 2-1 because neither one of us got javelin, so we remain at a stagnant score of 2-1.
What is the average lifespan of an MLB baseball? Is it 6 pitches, 1 inning, 1 game, or 1 series?
I'll start first since I have a lead here, and that way Jenny can play some competitive strategy behind me. I'm going to go with, which wasn't a shot at her. It was just more so I actually did have a cop that time. I'm going to go with 6 pitches, I believe was A. A.
Yes, that was A.
And then Jenny, what say you behind me?
Let's see. I definitely am feeling A or B. I'm not quite sure yet.
Well, Jenny, if I may be so bold, since you are 1 behind me, the only way to force a tiebreaker would be to go the opposite answer of me, or a different answer than me, just as a heads up, a forewarning, if you will.
Okay, all right. In that case, I will go with an inning, B.
I hate to say it, but Phil was correct.
Yeah.
6 pitches.
Oh, so you lied to me.
Well, I didn't know. But
you threw me off, buddy.
Yes. Well, I didn't know.
Can I, out of curiosity, give you guys the tiebreaker just to see what would have happened?
Sure, absolutely.
Sure.
Okay, so the question is, for how many events will the 2020 Summer Olympics award medals? So how many events are there that the 2020 Summer Olympics will award medals for? Whoever is closest would have won.
Okay, yeah. So since Jenny would have forced the tie, she would have gone first. So Jenny, what's a nice solid number?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question again?
Yeah. So how many events will the 2020 Summer Olympics award medals for?
My gut feeling says 200.
Ooh, you know what? If we're going to go closest, so I'm either going to go up or below Jenny, and I don't think it's up, so I'm going to go with 199.
Jenny would have won. It's actually 339.
Whoa!
Yeah. Whoa!
Lucky you got that question right at the end there, Phil. You are the winner despite that.
Yes.
Well done. Any complaints?
Yeah. I think it was really rude that you started out with dimples. That's all I'm going to say. All right, here we go. My game. David, you blessed me with a lovely little game last week, which the people had come to my resounding defense for you making an extremely difficult game while I lobbed you lollipops. Again, I really want to thank you for that. So while I apologize to Jenny for this, I want to return the favor in kind, and since I know just how big of a Cher fan you are, David, borderline obsessive, really, I have built a game around Cher. Thank you again, David.
Oh, my goodness.
Shall we begin? First question, here we go. According to Billboard.com, which song is Cher's 17th hottest song? Is it A, Bang Bang, My Baby Shot Me Down, B, You Better Sit Down Kids, C, We All Sleep Alone, or D, I Found Someone? Again, that's Bang Bang, My Baby Shot Me Down, B, You Better Sit Down Kids, C, We All Sleep Alone, or D, I Found Someone. And just for clarification's sake, these are all real Cher songs. So take that for what it is. Okay. First, we will start with Jenny, as always, the lovely Jenny Reiner. What is your answer, Jenny?
Well, thank you, first off. And then my answer, my gut feeling is feeling A.
Bang Bang, My Baby Shot Me Down. What a good feeling. And yes. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, David. Which one are you going to go with?
I'm going to go with C, whatever C was.
Whatever the hell C was. We All Sleep Alone. And you both are incorrect. It was You Better Sit Down, Kids. Oh, dang it, David. I really thought you had that one. What is the 7th song listed on Cher's immortal Heart of Stone album? Is it A, Emotional Fire, B, Just Like Jesse James, C, Heart of Stone, or D, You Wouldn't Know Love? Again, all real Cher songs. One more time for Jenny, because of course she's the only one here who isn't enamored with Cher. A, Emotional Fire. B, Just Like Jesse James. C, Heart of Stone. Or D, You Wouldn't Know Love. We're going to start with you, David. You go ahead and start us out.
Oh, you're so fucking petty. I'm just gonna go with B.
B, Just Like Jesse James. How ironic. Jenny, please enlighten us.
My gut feeling is C, Heart of Stone.
Heart of Stone, the namesake of the album. Unfortunately, and I'm surprised David missed this one. It was like right there. This is his favorite album. You both were wrong. It was A, Emotional Fire. Emotional Fire. Kind of like...
Gosh, that was my second guess. Dang it.
Kind of like how I feel after a big meal of crab. C, or the third question. Here we go. How many tours has the legendary Cher done as a solo artist? Not how many tours has David seen of her, but just how many tours has she done as a solo artist? 7, B is 11, C is 16, or D, 21. Again, 7, 11, 16, or 21. We will start with you again, Jenny.
Okay. My gut feeling is feeling C, 16.
16. David?
You know what? I would have gone with the max 21, but you say solo artist.
Yeah, solo artist specifically.
Yeah, so maybe I'll go with 11.
Maybe as in you are definitely choosing 11?
Yes, I'm going with 11.
Okay, just to be clear before I give you the answer.
Actually, you know what?
Oh.
Can I change my answer?
Absolutely.
I will also join on 11.
That's fair. All right. And you both are incorrect still. And I realize the urge to go after David with his infinite amount of Cher knowledge, but you missed this one. It is only 7, actually, since 1979. Wow. Yes, she is well traveled, but low in quantity. Only 7. Yes. And last, no, excuse me. I'm sorry. This is the fourth question. Here we go. At least, meaning what is the lowest amount? At least the least amount of movies that we can confirm that Cher has been in as of the recording of this podcast. At least the least amount of number of movies that we can confirm Cher has been. Is it A, 7, B, 17, C, 27, or D, 37? And I believe it goes to Jenny? Am I correct in that?
No, it's
David. Okay, go ahead, David.
Okay. What are the options again? It's 7, 17...
27, and 37.
Oh, okay. That's pretty easy to remember. Yes. I mean, 37 sounds like an awful lot for someone who's not technically an actress. I would say maybe... Okay, I'm just going to go with 17. 17.
He chooses B. Jenny, which direction are you going in?
I'm going to go lower. I'm going to go with A.
A, 7. And you both swung and miss. It is actually C, 27. Man, I wish I could have just... It seems like this trivia questions are just a little hard for you guys. David, I'm so sorry. Oopsies. Next one. How many Grammys does Cher have? This one, you guys actually might have a shot at getting here.
I've got no...
Okay,
right.
okay.
A, 1. B, 3, C, 5, or D, 7? Let's start out with you, Jenny. How many Grammys? So
my question is, are we considering ones that she could have potentially won with other people, other artists?
Yeah, I know.
Or are these just ones that she won independently?
You know what? I'm thinking it's just her. Whenever I looked at the Grammys official website, it only had her listed. So I'm going to go with as a solo artist.
Okay, and then would you mind repeating the options
Absolutely.
One more time?
How many Grammys does Cher have? A, 1, and you know what, just 1, 3, 5, or 7?
Okay. My gut says that she's been around for a very, very long time now. And
a 7-decade career, yeah.
Massive success. So I'm feeling D, 7.
I'm not going to make the joke. 7. Go ahead, Hoffman.
I want 1.
Yeah. Oh, I destroyed David. I'm sorry. I apologize. All right. Which was your answer, David?
Wait.
1,
Okay.
3, 5,
Do
and
I
7.
go for something different, or do I count on the tiebreaker?
Now, I'm curious. Do you have? What is your feeling? What is like? Do you believe Jenny is correct?
I do. I think that's probably, yeah, but
You don't know if you want to risk it all in the tiebreaker.
I mean, I've never, as much as I love the Oscars, I've never ever followed the Grammys, and I'm good with that. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with 7. I'm gonna.
All right, so you
bring on
both
the tiebreaker.
you have ensured a tiebreaker, and it wouldn't have mattered really unless you hit the right answer, which neither one of you did. It was. Which is the real answer is 1. She only has 1, and it's for it's for her most famous solo song. Jenny, do you know it?
Oh, there's a lot though.
There is, but it's her most famous one. It's just
But there's one.
Yeah, give us the bar, Jenny. Give us it.
Is it? My brain instantly goes to
No.
yeah. Do you believe in love after love?
God bless you, Jenny. This is why we bring you on. God bless it. We need it.
Just for my Cher impression. That's all you bring me on for.
Absolutely. All right, we go to the tiebreaker here, which does matter. So how much is Cher's net worth as of this recording? So since Jenny is our guest, and since neither of you have forced the tie, really, I'm going to give it to you, Jenny. Do you want to go first or second?
I would like to go second, please.
David, set us up with a number. Closest without going over. I'm going to set that as my tiebreaker. Closest without going over.
Damn it. Net worth. I'm going to go with $25 million.
$25 million. She sets it up at $25 million. Jenny, which number will you go with?
I'm feeling a little bit higher, to be honest.
Okay.
Let's do 42 million.
42 million. And the winner, we do have a winner, is Jenny Reiner, but both of you are absolutely low. I mean, come on, 7 decades. You'd hope that you can get a little bit more than that. $360 million.
Oh,
You know, I kind of just assumed living in Vegas for so long that a lot of it might have been squandered. I really don't. I hate to spoil Philip's little ruse here, but I actually don't know that much about Cher. So, although when I was like 4 years old, I believe was like my favorite song.
Oh, whose wasn't it? That song rocks. Yeah. That song is absolutely killing it. So unfortunately, much to David's chagrin, he does not win this week. Jenny wins, and this is why we bring in the guests to even it out. God bless you, Jenny. You have done exactly as our forefathers have told. Bless you. You have fulfilled your life's work. How does it feel now that you've made it on the podcast and walk away victorious?
It feels really good. It does.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. And in all sincerity, thank you so much for coming on the show, Jenny. We really appreciate it. Is there anything you want to plug while you're here? Anything that you want to promote that we can help get the word out for?
No, nothing at this time, unfortunately.
All right,
but definitely stay tuned if anyone follows my platforms. Yes. I don't know.
Yes. No, absolutely. Jenny is a local actor here in my neck of the woods, David, in Arizona. So for any casting directors that are obviously listening, and maybe now Cher's agent, we've got Jenny Reiner for
yes.
for your loving interest. So thank you so much, and we move along. All right, and with that game, I am at 3-5 lifetime during this podcast, and David is now 4-4 and even 500.
All right, welcome back to That Slaps, Slappity Slaps. I think one of our favorite little parts of the show here.
Absolutely.
We're going to bring you guys some entertainment every week. You know the drill. I'm going with a song this week and took the opportunity to choose one of my favorites of the past year, 2 years. It's called Fun, and it is by Sir Sly, a band that Philip and I both enjoy, I think.
Yes, very nice, and it will make it onto the newly curated and formed Spotify playlist, right?
Yeah, there's a post on our Instagram, and that shows the name of the playlist. It's called That Slaps ! By POWWOW Podcast, and I actually also created a list on Letterboxd of all the movies that slap.
Ooh, look at that. We also have that available to you, and you have one now that you will need to add because my That Slaps, I watched one of the Oscar contenders, my last film of the best film category. I watched The Father, and to say that slaps almost feels just awful about it because it is one of the most brilliant interpretive films that I've seen in quite a while. It's take aside the quality of the film overall, just at the very concept of it and the execution of that concept is brilliant. It certainly slaps, and I'm not doing a podcast about it anywhere, so that's why I feel like I at least need to say it.
I think we'll talk about this next week, I'm sure, or aspects of this next week. What really was notable for me is the storytelling through editing, the way that story is told through the editing, and that's obviously a category at the Oscars to look out for.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's podcast. We certainly thank you for subscribing and listening to all of our old episodes, listening to any and all upcoming episodes that we have coming up here. Thank you so much for Tara Amstutz for coming up and designing with our graphic designs. It's not the proper verbiage of it. I'm so thankful, though, that I can't even think correctly. So thank you so much, though. I genuinely mean that. We genuinely mean it. It's absolutely beautiful, riveting. I take days off just to look at it.
Yeah, and big shout out to Cass and Crossland and to Jake Corlang for all the music that you hear on this show. We're very, very grateful.
Make sure that you go ahead and subscribe to that podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts, whether that be iTunes, whether that be Spotify, pretty much anywhere except for Pandora. Screw you, Pandora.
Is that a bear?